everyone. It's Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. We'll get the City Council we'll call the City Council regular meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the invocation given by Councilman Harvey Curley, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we rise to give you grace. Lord, we ask that you would be with each and every one of us here at this council meeting. Would we ask the council members that the decisions we make are for the citizens of this community and not ourselves. And Lord, we bless this country, that we would pull together and that we would be united as one. We ask these things in your name, Jesus, the living Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, everyone. And Tony, we'll start off with you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this is a little late coming, but it's better late than never. March 28th, we held a Battle of the Badges blood drive at the Recreation Authority Center. Basically, it was the fire departments for Eastpointe and Roseville against the police departments for Eastpointe and Roseville. Each department recruited donors, and we kept score. With this Battle of the Badges, we had one of our most successful blood drives in a long, long time. And it's very well needed and very much appreciated, especially by the American Red Cross. So with that, the final score was Fire Department 19, Police Department 17. I'd like to call up Fire Chief Jason Clark. So with this trophy, it's going to be at least an annual event, although I have a little comment at the end here. And trophy reads, reigning champion, Battle of the Badges blood drive, Eastpointe and Roseville Fire Departments versus Eastpointe and Roseville Police Departments. This department is the current champion of the Battle of the Badges blood drive. They recruited more donors, helping save more lives for the Battle of the Badges blood drive, held in partnership with the American Red Cross and the Recreation Authority of Roseville and Eastpointe. Blood donations mean more life, more love, more memories for those suffering unexpected trauma and chronic illness every day. So with that, I get to display this.
All right.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much. I just gotta say, this was really all Tony. I mean, we're getting some credit here, but he put this whole thing together. He got it all out there, put the word out there, so we appreciate it.
Well, actually, all the chiefs actually kicked in. I appreciate all their help. And both cities, Councilman DeMonico donated. We had plenty of other city representatives donate, which is great. We need to see more of that. Once I sent out the emails to all the chiefs what the final score was, I had a dispute from the Roseville Police Chief who demanded a recount. Contacted the Red Cross volunteers. She assured me that the score was correct. I let him know and told him just, if you want, you can. He couldn't donate that day, but he offered to donate to help bring the score up. I said, go ahead and donate. We'll add yours to the score. We'll even add your score if you donate at the next blood drive, so that way I can get them locked in. But with that, because there was that challenge, the next blood drive is scheduled for Friday, September 12th from noon until 6 at the Recreation Authority Center. It will be another Battle of the Badges to see how many donors we can recruit. This one, we were able to collect over 36 pints, and which is very good, and we hope to maybe sometime reach our goal of 50. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for your help.
Thank you very much. All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker?
Here.
Councilmember Curley?
Here?
Councilmember DeMonico?
Here.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Here.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Here.
All right, approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, if we could add one item to new business for the agenda, to add a budget public hearing to the July 1st city council meeting.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
All right, opening the first hearing of the public. Would anyone wish to be heard?
Good evening, Mary Hall Rayford, Eastpointe. Things that bother me, and when they do, I generally write. So the first one I want to talk about is criticism. It's not an attack, it's democracy. All elected officials stand in the line for criticism. That's just the way it is. And so if we can't handle the comments people make, probably shouldn't run for office. And I'm not biting my tongue when I say that. Another one is opinions matter, explaining why matters more. And I'll give you a little example. I stopped standing for the Pledge of Allegiance a few years ago when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And I did so because there was no justice and liberty for all if anyone's rights were taken. I stand on that opinion, and whenever someone asks me why, I had no problem explaining it to them. When I voted no on the board, if someone asked me why, I explained it to them. Elected officials have an accountability to the residents. This is not for show, it's not for you, and if you can't respond or refuse to respond to residents, you shouldn't be holding an office. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Hi, Jennifer Nicholas, Eastpointe resident. On the agenda tonight, there's a resolution declaring June 2025 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month. I guess I'm wanting to know what the difference is between a resolution and a proclamation. Looking back at resolutions and proclamations over the last several months, it seems like we use proclamations to recognize and celebrate people or groups of people. Examples, National Police Week, Black History Month, Native American Heritage Month, School Board Recognition, Hispanic Heritage Month. Resolutions, when I'm looking back, they look like they are city administrative items, like approval of MDOT's contract for 10 Mile, approving precinct boundary changes, authorization of credit card acceptance. I'm kind of questioning why we would equate declaring Pride Month equally with approving an MDOT contract. Wouldn't we want to recognize and celebrate Pride Month with a proclamation like we would for Hispanic Heritage Month? It seems like Pride Month is receiving a lesser standard of recognition than these other groups, and I'm kind of surprised that that's the way they go, but maybe I don't understand the difference between a resolution and a proclamation, so maybe if you can explain that when we get to that agenda item. At the Neighborhood Watch meeting last week, Chief Haynes reviewed police statistics for the past couple months and specifically addressed the violent crime during the month of May. They handled 3 separate shootings with 2 fatalities and 1 stabbing with 1 fatality. This is not normal for our city, but it's happened. Chief Haynes attributed some of these crimes to gang violence that is spilling over from Detroit into our city. Many of the people involved in these incidents are not Eastpointe residents, they are Detroiters. I've spoken on concerns about crime in our city and crime in our neighboring area of Detroit there before because, I feel that it is real. I've lived in Eastpointe since I was a year old, but in high school, which would have been back in like 81, 82, and 83, most of my friends lived in Detroit, mainly the 6 Mile and Hoover area and all the way through to 8 and Kelly. I spent most of my time there. Back then, those neighborhoods were nice and safe, the houses were well-kept. Things started changing in the mid-'80s. Cars started getting stolen, houses broken into. My best friend and her boyfriend were robbed at gunpoint in front of his house. Things changed very rapidly. You know, a lot of people moved out of the city, and people that I am still in touch with might still have the same group of friends. When they hear about what's happening in Eastpointe, they say, this is how it starts. This is what happened in our neighborhoods.
You have about 30 seconds.
So I've never really believed them before because I've always felt safe in Eastpointe, but 2 weeks ago, there was a gun incident, a shooting incident 4 blocks away from me at 10 Mile and 94. So it's concerning to me, and I really feel that council needs to focus on public safety. You guys are too young, Mayor Kleinfeld, to understand what happened 40 years ago. You know, before we move on with things we want to do for the city, I think we really need to address the crime issue.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, Lisa Hyber, Eastpointe resident, and I am here to ask for the council's help. Since the repaving of Topher, it has been noted, thank you, Mr. Curley, Councilman Curley, a year ago, he saw me sitting in the mayor's office, probably for about the 28th time in the last 10 years. When Topher had been redone, it was not done correctly. The tree that was supposed to be removed in front of my house was not, and the cement was poured. It was poured off pitch, leading the water towards my house, cracking my foundation. I have gone through every proper channel that I was told to go through, from the DPW all the way through. Councilman Curley saw me in the office and came to my house with Mr. Palucci, who stated in front of Councilman Curley, yes, the cement was poured off pitch. The tree was not taken down properly as it was supposed to be. I've been battling cancer for 10 years, and I have a very small window of being able to fight to save my house that is now making me sick because the foundation is cracking, mold is coming in, I'm allergic to dust, cement dust has put me down for months at a time, has caused me to lose my eyesight. I have very few weeks out of each year that I'm allowed to address this. And I have addressed this all the way through from Miss Walton, Mr. Bellucci, Miss Walton, everybody, all the way through, down to the insurance company. Councilman Curley was there when Mr. Bellucci handed me the insurance form, and again, Miss Walton handed me an insurance form. I was denied without an inspection. They said my house is over 100 years old. My house is 95 years old. They stated, I stated it was a rotten tree.
You have 30 seconds.
I need this to be addressed because I can't afford to move, but I need to live, and I need your help. So if you as council members could please look at my documentation that I have from 214, asking for that tree to be removed, we wouldn't be in this situation. And I need your help to live, and that's all I ask. Please.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, John Solera, Kelly Road. I stand tonight in opposition to the Pride Parade, which concerns really such a small population of Eastpointe that I don't know really what it's about unless it's personal issues with people on the council. Men dressing as women or women dressing as men has no relation to anything going on in East Point. And I'm also in opposition to Rare being a sponsor of it. I notice a lot of Pride Parades have lost their sponsorship. Well, we've got Rare. Rare is our money. So I don't know what that's about. Ms. Pasadiliak, it's well known that marijuana dispensaries are flush with money. They're a cash business, basically. They are, because of the laws on marijuana don't mesh with federal laws, they can't put their money in the bank. Their speculation runs rampant that there's a lot of money laundering going on. So when you get asked a question about the dispensaries, I think you should answer it. I'd also like to know whether Eastpointe is going to be paid its fees from the dispensaries in cash or in check. That's something I'd like to know. That's a lot of money, because these places are flush with cash. Probably the last cash business left in the United States. Mr. Delmonico, as you described it lately, you did get paid twice for your trip to, for your Trump derangement syndrome. Sounds to me like you took a couple days off. You call them, well, they're sick days or vacation days, whatever. It was an overnight stay, and you hit maybe Eastpointe for the hotel bill, the food bills, whatever. But sounds to me like you got paid twice. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi again, Tony Lipinski, Director for the Recreation Authority of Roseville and Eastpointe. Once again, just wanted to thank Chief Haynes and Chief Clark for their help with the Battle of the Badges blood drive and having one of our more successful blood drives we've had in a long time. But I wanted to remind the residents that this coming Saturday, June 7th, we have a program called Donuts with Grown-Ups. This is for the kids to bring their special adult to Spindler Park. It's from 10 until noon at Spindler Park. It's a free event, no registration is required. Enjoy donuts and make a craft with your special adult. While supplies last, can't count on how many donuts there'll be, but anyways. If there is rain, the event will still happen. We'll have it at the Recreation Authority Center. If there's inclement weather, just keep social media, it'll be posted there. Also on June 24th, we have Nerf Wars at Shamrock Park. That's for ages 5 up. It's fun for the whole family. We have refreshments and snacks. I believe it's $5, but I'm not exactly sure. I need to register by June 20th, but it's Nerf Wars being held at Shamrock Park. And then July 10th, we have the Pride in the Park event at Veterans Memorial Park in Roseville from 6 to 8. And just putting it out there, we at the Recreation Authority of Roseville and Eastpointe provide programs, events for people of all ages, all nationalities, and however they identify themselves. We provide programs for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman, and the police and fire department. I'm Clifton Hall. I've been here 3 weeks or so in a row. I really want to thank the police chief and whoever he had to go to get signs down on Eagle. He did that. I'm happy about it, but it's still a big problem. 8 Mile going east. I go across there 4, 5, 6 times a day. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I know Eastpointe can't control it. That's belonged to the county. They told me some years ago. They got to get down there and do something about that traffic. at 7 o'clock in the, 6:15 in the evening, that traffic backed up all the way back to Gratiot. Eastbound traffic can't ever get across to go east. Somebody, you all could get with the county to do something about that situation. That's too much of a delay. With that expressway closed up at 696 for 2 years, all of that traffic there is down there because of the Mile Road. This is under construction too. Could you please try to get in touch with the county to do something about that traffic there?
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll call you last. Okay, all right, thank you.
Being rushed up here. Karen Morajan, Eastpointe resident. All right, folks, we heard from this poor woman who's battling with cancer. Let's all get together and help her out. And I want you to stop and think for a minute, how would you feel if you were in her shoes? You know, we've got a lot of elderly residents in the city here. Not all of them have family support or anyone to rely on. I can think of quite a few neighbors that are like that, and there's no excuse for that. You know, if we're gonna sit here and say we're a family town, then, you know, let's go. Otherwise, it's what, a dysfunctional family town. I support the Pride Parade. My nephew's gay, and he's transitioning. So, you know, it's quite the journey to watch unfold. The rest of the family, you know, isn't dealing with it very well, and I'm not happy with them. But, you know, this kid I just love with all my heart and soul. So, you know, I'm there for this really amazing kid. That's actually 30-something now, but still a kid to me. Councilman DeMonico, I guess we're busted for, you know, we got paid going to the, you know, Trump protests, but the, you know, best thing is we outnumbered the supporters. So that was a beautiful day. Now, getting back on track to what I usually talk about is the animals. Today, there was an agriculture committee up in Lansing, Senate Bill 223. So our dear mayor, chat with your mom about this. So what they're trying to do is there's groups, you know, trying to actually make some changes to the law for Teddy's bill. And, you know, for those who are familiar, that was in regards to the beagles that, you know, I personally find animal testing absolutely disgusting, and there's no reason for it. What they were doing prior was they were euthanizing the animals after they were done with the tests. Now it's supposed to allow healthy dogs that survive all that horrific testing to be placed in shelters and adopted into loving homes. Well, the person who opposed it was very arrogant with the committee, and they nailed him on the questions that there have been no animals sent to shelters. I'll talk more in the second period. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we had one comment submitted, Mr. Albright.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yes, the city received this email last Friday from a gentleman by the name of Charles Blackwell, and it states, quote, "Hello, pursuant to the Americans with Disability Act, I want the following public comment publicly read on my behalf at the June 3rd City Council meeting. Good evening. Last year, Councilman Rob Baker displayed his bigotry by voting against the City Council's LGBTQ resolution. This year, he should vote in support of the resolution. Councilman Baker should go over on 6 Mile and Woodward in Detroit and establish meaningful and positive connections with the LGBTQ community. He might even already be well-known over there, unquote.
Thank you. All right, and with that, the hearing of the public is closed. We'll move on to approval of the minutes, special meeting minutes from May 20th, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I would move the acceptance of the special meeting minutes of May 20th, 2025.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
All right, item B, regular meeting minutes from May 20th, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I'll motion we approve the regular meeting minutes of May 20th, 2025.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
All right, thank you. And we'll move on to scheduled hearings, item A, which I guess we will have two of them, essentially. The public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 25-26 budget and tax rate. Would anyone wish to be heard just to that topic? All right, seeing none, that hearing is closed. We'll move on, we don't have any unfinished business. We'll move on to reports from administration, the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If you folks don't already drive 9 Mile, they started today by shifting the lanes. They are practically complete on the southbound portion. They are now going to shift us to the northbound, so caution. Seems the first few days, people don't quite know where they should go or where they should not go, so we're trying to avoid accidents. Many of us are bypassing 9 Mile just for sheer safety. So caution on that. They're way ahead of schedule, which we're very pleased about. And we hope they continue to stay way ahead of schedule because we'd like to get 9 Mile open and back to normal for our residents. You'll notice Gratiot Road out there is still a bit of a mess. There's cones, there's dirt. We haven't been too happy about it. Our Public Works Director has had discussions with the contractor, and the contractor has assured us that it will be cleaned up and ready for the Gratiot Cruise, which will be June 14th from 11 to 4. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Elke? All right, we'll move on to the Finance Director's report. Mr. Blum.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. With the delay in the approval of the budget till the July 1st meeting, the tax bills will go out a little later than normal. I can't send them out till the budget's formally approved, so there'll be a delay in printing and mailing. Just, when people start calling you wondering where their tax bill is, it's on the way, but can't do it till after the budget's approved, so.
I don't think anyone's ever called me and asked where their tax bill is.
They call us all the time. You'd be amazed how many people show up July 1st.
All right, any questions for Mr. Blum? Moving on to our city attorney's report, Mr. Albright.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Over the weekend, I was contacted by the attorney representing Common Citizen / MPM. They were before the Planning Commission several weeks ago on a special meeting, and he wanted to know why it wasn't before the council for this council meeting. I explained to him that I believed it was due to some technical issues that we were having with the audio. I recorded the meeting, and I met with our IT specialist last week and provided him with a copy of that meeting, which was over 3 hours long. And I said, I presume that their request then would be on the second meeting, the second regular meeting in June. And he wanted to know, because of some time constraints that he believes his client is under, if that could be moved up at all. I said, well, the only way to do that is if the city council scheduled a special meeting. And so that was the reason for sending the email. He requested that the council consider scheduling a special meeting on behalf of his client regarding the special land use approval.
Any questions for Mr. Albright?
Well, that was just one thing.
Oh, go on.
I didn't know if the council wanted to discuss that request at all.
No.
Okay. I'll report back to him. And then, I can't believe it, but it's that time of the year again for scheduling the city attorney review. We typically do it at the second meeting in June.
You don't need a motion for that. We can just add it to the end of the agenda?
Yes.
All right. anything-
Okay. One more thing.
Okay.
Council's in receipt of our monthly status report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Any questions?
I'm done now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to new business. Item A, approval of resolution number 25-2003, the LGBTQ plus Pride Month resolution.
Mr. Mayor, without objection, if no one else, would like to read the resolution.
Sure.
Okay. Fine. A resolution declaring June 2025 as LGBTQ Pride Month. Whereas the city of Eastpointe respects the value and dignity of each person and affirms the importance of equality and freedom. And whereas Eastpointe is a town that welcomes family in any shape because everyone deserves a place to call home where they are safe, happy, and supported by friends and neighbors. And whereas the city denounces prejudice and unfair discrimination based on age, gender, identity, gender expression, race, color, religion, marital status, national origin, sexual orientation, or physical attributes as an effort to our fundamental principles. And whereas Pride Month begins in June of 1970, on the one-year anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising in New York City, after LGBTQ and allied friends rose up and fought against the constant harassment from authorities and the discriminatory laws that have been since declared unconstitutional. And whereas the city appreciates the culture, civic, and economic contribution of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, plus LGBTQ community, which strengthens our social welfare. And whereas it is important that young people in our community, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, feel valued, safe, empowered, and supported by their peers and community leaders. Whereas East Detroit, as an accepting and loving community that encourages LGBTQ people to celebrate their authenticity and live without fear or shame. And now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Eastpointe City Council declare the month of June 2025 as LGBTQ Pride Month in the city of Eastpointe. And we reaffirm our commitment to the fundamental principles of equality, liberty, and justice.
Move to approve.
I'll second that, if that was a motion.
And I will comment on that. I know that I'd be fine with it either way. Over the years, I've seen some councils vote on proclamations and resolutions. I actually think we probably should address that in our bylaws because I've seen it change and it's unclear. But I think as a proclamation, I would probably prefer to do it that way next year if we can. But anyway, just to respond to that. So, no, not right now. Not right now.
No.
Not right now.
No.
Any comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Mayor, it was your motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Kleinfeld.
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico.
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
No.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item B, approval of award for the contract for Nevada Avenue concrete pavement repairs.
Mr. Mayor, I'll motion we award the contract for the Nevada Avenue concrete pavement repairs from Topher to Ash in the amount of $123,738.45 to Hartwell Cement Company 21650 Fern Avenue, Oak Park, Michigan 48237, and further authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
Second. All right, are there any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item C, approval of award of contract for the 10-mile basketball court and parking lot to Best Asphalt.
Mr. Mayor? I had one item real quick I wanted to bring up about this. It's an item we've talked about for 9 Mile and 10 Mile and such, about how many curb cuts we have on the roads, which is way too many. You know, a lot of intersections essentially to look at when you're driving or walking, and you know, it's not as safe to have so many. And I think especially since there will be such a low amount of traffic, if we would close off one of these driveways, be consistent with our plans we've made for 9 Mile and also the plan that we had in front of us recently for 10 Mile. I did already run this by Mr. Kern and our city manager if they had any issues. Didn't seem like there were any issues, so I was wondering if we could just motion to adjust that and remove one of the 2 curb cuts. I guess to me it doesn't matter which one. To me, whichever one I guess makes more sense from an engineering perspective. But just to make that small change, the rest of the project I think is awesome. Definitely need a second basketball court over there. There's always a ton of people playing. And then it'll be nice to have a legitimate, you know, parking area there. Of course, that'll probably even fill up with how many people have been there. And we've got plenty of parking just, you know, right on the other side in the normal lot. So I didn't know if anyone was in favor of that, just having 1 driveway instead of 2. That's basically my request.
And I was just just to be sure, there were no problems that you saw, Ryan?
No, I'd have no objections to that at all. Basically, what we were doing was we designed the parking lot based upon the existing curb cuts that were there. There's 2 curb cuts there for the gravel area now, but I'd have no issue if, I mean, it's a small enough parking lot where there was only 1 drive approach. That would be sufficient. It'd be a slight cost savings to that by eliminating that drive approach as well. But, you know, that's an easy change that we can work with the contractor on.
And what's there now is they're side by, well, not kind of side by side right now. Is that correct?
They're close to, yeah, they're not very far apart.
Okay.
I got a drawing if you wanted to
Oh, okay.
see it.
I think I kind of recall it. I've been there once or twice, but okay. I would support that though. I would support it.
So you want to add that into the motion approving the basketball court then?
Sure.
I'll support that if you do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll add that. I'll make the motion here and add that in. I'll motion to award the contract for the 10 Mile basketball court and parking lot to Best Asphalt Incorporated, 6334 North Beverly Plaza, Romulus, Michigan, 48174, on the amount of $217,671.30, and further authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents, with one adjustment, that we change the project to have 1 driveway instead of 2.
I support that. Ms. Mayor, I do have one question. It wasn't written in here, but Ryan, that is going to be a full court, is it not?
That is correct. It'd be the same exact court that's there now. So
Okay.
duplicating the same one.
Right, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item D, approval of award of contract for the fire station restroom renovations to Shaw Construction and Management. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I'll motion we award the contract for the fire station restroom renovations to Shaw Construction and Management Company, 13980 Farmington Road, Livonia, Michigan, 48154, in the amount of $252,450, and further authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
All right, any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item E, approval to move payment acceptance to BSA Online. Would anyone like to open up with a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the moving of the city's third-party payment provider to BSNA Online and authorize the finance director to process necessary documents. And if I may, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to have finance director explain what I just said.
Currently, we have two third-party providers for online payments and credit card payments. One of them is DivDat that has the kiosk, and the other one is Point and Pay. Point and Pay is tied in with tax, water bills, and building permits, but it is not real time. So a lot of times we have people paying building permits and they don't see it post, and then they swipe their card again. And we've had to refund people, 2 and 3 payments because they overpay. They're expecting online instant results. DivDat only does taxes and water bills, same thing. It's not real time. We have to download files every morning and upload them. And the kiosk itself is getting minimal usage. We're doing between 8 and 850 transactions a month. The idea was we were trying to get about 5,000 to 6,000 transactions a month to reduce the cashiering staff. That has not panned out, and about 40% of the transactions are non-Eastpointe, and we still pay fees for all those transactions. So the idea is to move away from both of those providers, move to BSNA Online, which is real time, and when people make a payment, it will instantly show up on their BSNA Online account. It will be, we don't pay any of the credit card fees, so there's no cost to the city. In fact, getting rid of the kiosk will save us about $24,000 a year. So this move will be a net savings.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
With respect to, you were talking about the DivDat and the fees that processed out of the city. Would that be like with respect to the court or something like that? Do they use that too, or is this just for?
It's anybody that signs up with DivDat, so a lot of it is actually Detroit water bills. Okay. They come to City Hall. We have a guy that comes in every month. He sits down pulls up a chair, sits down at the kiosk and runs about 30 to 35 transactions through there, just because I guess we're safer. So he can sit here and, peace and quiet and do his business. So we get a lot of that going on. We do get some court activity because they also have an online presence with DivDat, but that's separate from ours. So.
Oh, I didn't know if they would also do the same thing, but I guess the goal would be to save money and consolidate at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Harvey made a motion. Is there support?
Support.
Okay.
So the 24,000 in savings, is just city. So we're just saying city side. We're not counting the court.
The court is separate. They pay for, they don't have a kiosk, so they're only paying for the online presence, and their fees are specific to the court. They had to do special programming to access, I'm assuming it's not JIS, but they're accessing something where they can get to court records so people can make payments, but that was a whole separate programming. So that will not go away. We could move the kiosk to the court because the judge had wanted one over there. If she's, we can just transfer the budget from finance to the court, and that would be a wash then to the city. It wouldn't be a savings, but that's another option.
How long have we had this also? Because I know it was just a couple of years ago we switched to DivDat and had a whole conversation.
Probably about the 3-year mark. So, and we've tried everything in promoting usage of it, and it just the kiosk has been a failure. So.
And when you said that we paid for transactions that aren't for Eastpointe. We just pay for any of the transactions that are on the kiosks that are at City Hall then?
Correct.
Okay.
We pay a monthly fee for the kiosk and then transaction fees for every transaction that happens.
Then I was trying to understand this, the fee schedule here a little bit more. Is this going to change any fees for anybody paying their bills?
There will be slight changes, some up, some down. It just depends on the type of bill. Find the schedule. Right now, the fee is 2.95%. However, both DivDat and Point and Pay have minimum fees. So in this case, utility bills, you could pay a $20 water bill and still have to pay a $2 fee. This one would be actually 2.95% of the $20 and then a 50-cent charge. So the smaller payments will actually save money. Taxes is 2.8 instead of 2.95, so they'll save money there. And then the larger ones that are already paying the 2.95, it'd be an extra 50 cents per transaction. So again, it depends on what you're paying and what transaction you're doing.
What are the two ACH tables? What do those mean?
They give us an option of absorbing the cost directly. The ACH is if somebody does an e-check payment. We do not do that because we could in water sewer because we could bake it into water sewer rates, but we can't absorb it on a tax payment because we have nowhere to offset it.
What do you mean nowhere to offset it?
Well, I mean, it would become an expense to the city. If there was an expense on the water side, it would just be rolled into the rates. So we still wouldn't be paying for it directly.
Because so right now, if anyone does ACH, we don't charge anything, but this would charge then $3 a transaction if
Yes.
we approve this?
Yep.
So anyone that pays water bill ACH then will be paying?
No, this is the online e-check.
Oh, online?
Yeah, our ACH process doesn't cost anybody anything.
Oh, okay, it's not through?
No, it's not the
Point and Pay, it's just?
city induced
Okay.
ACH.
Yeah, I don't know how that's all set up. Okay. Okay, so then that is, yeah, if you pay like online, but like e-check, you're saying? Okay.
Right.
Interesting.
And there's already fees for that now, so it's just a matter of shifting some up, some down.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick.
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico.
No.
All right, moving on to payroll and bills. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Mayor, do we have to do the,
I'm sorry. Yeah, scheduling the public hearing.
Well, I'll motion that we schedule a 7 PM public hearing at the July 1st regular city council meeting.
Support.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico.
Yes.
I think it was Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld.
Yes. All right, now moving on to payroll and bills.
Mayor, I move that we pay the bills in the amount of $2,935,869.84.
Support.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick.
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico.
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld.
Yes. All right, moving on to the second hearing of the public. The second hearing of the public is now open. Would anyone wish to be heard?
address one issue that once the city insurance, who did not inspect my house, declined, we had to proceed and try and find contractors as soon as possible so I could breathe. Why, we've installed new windows. Why would the city building department charge a $900 fee to pull a permit? I think that's excessive. And now I know why people in Eastpointe can't afford to repair their homes. That was just one charge. Something to think about. I also want to make a comment. A couple weeks back on the dog having another animal control. We live on a corner. We have a privacy fence. We have 2 pit bulls. In the last 14 months, our dogs have been attacked under the fence to the point of drawing blood and having to call the police department. I believe that instead of putting more lights up at a dog park, the priority before even having a dog park should have animal control. And it's sad that we have to put our dogs in the backyard with full harnesses on, because when the city council allowed privacy fences, they made a ruling that there's 4 inches off the floor. That gave other dogs the ability to come under the fence and attack our dogs. And I highly suggest that it would be easier on animal control in the city of Eastpointe if people would keep their gates closed. Because dogs go from house to house, backyard to backyard. But if the gates are closed, you see a wandering dog and you can call animal control right away. And then I need to know, who do I speak to about my problems with my own after, please?
Thank you. Anyone else?
John Solera, Kelly Road. That resolution you just passed made a reference to East Detroit. I don't know if Councilman Curley misread it, or you're just cutting and pasting things. I don't know. Doesn't make sense, but I thank the lady for the information about windows. I put windows in my house in 2020. If I'd have known I'd have paid nearly $1,000 fee for a permit, I would have hit the roof. It's too far gone now, but you know, if that's what permits cost, that's nuts. I'd like to mention to our police member, whose name I can't really see, and I don't know who you're here. You're not the chief. I was in McDonald's about a month ago, just getting a cup of coffee. So I'm waiting for my coffee. A young gentleman walks up to this is at Aiden Kelly. A young gentleman walks up to the cashier, and he's using his hands a lot. And the young girl looks at him and says, "Oh, you don't speak English." And so he shows her his phone, and she figures out what he wants. What he does next is he gets in his car, and he drives away. We obviously have people who can't read English. They possibly have driver's licenses because, you know, they're weird. Democrats need votes. They do that. Or possibly he doesn't. I don't know. We don't know who's driving next to us. So, and I'm disappointed in the council that it does not respect its police department. I'm aware of the 2 murders. I mean, the 2 shootouts by jets. I'm not aware of everything. But I wonder at what point does a police department, do their members start feeling PTSD, doing as many runs as they do? I don't know how big our police department is. I don't know how much it gets spread out between people. But I think we need a bigger police department. Along with that, we have, like this young gentleman at McDonald's, we have immigrants around us brought here by Biden and Whitmer that we know nothing about. A lot of these people have been sent here to sell drugs and many other criminal things. They're killing women, haven't, they're sex trafficking.
You have 30 seconds.
So, it's about time for this council to take its police department seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Hall Rayford, Eastpointe. I don't agree with everything the council does because I don't have to, and they don't have to agree with my stances about anything or everything because they don't have to. But when you do what's right, what's good, I just want you to know I appreciate your efforts. Mayor Kleinfeld, that's the first time and probably the last time you will ever hear me say that. Not because I don't respect your position, but because you are considering changing the platform for recognition. I appreciate that. And it tells me that you actually read my email, I hope. Okay. I'm wearing orange tonight because June is also Gun Violence Awareness Month. And at the Graduate Cruise, I believe Moms Demand Action has a table reserved, and we'll be handing out gun locks. So I'll be there for that. I'm thankful I don't try to get into the minds of other people. I know we've had some targeted refugees arriving in the United States from South Africa. And I don't hear anybody complaining about what they're doing or whether they speak English or not. And we're all human beings. We are all human beings. And until we get to a place where we recognize that and treat each other like human beings, we're going to continue to have a problem that's driven by hatred and racism. This has to stop. I'm no better than anybody else, and nobody else is any better than me. We need to recognize that. The only real answer to that is learning how to love, and true love, unconditional love, begins with self. So let's start there and see what we can do about loving others. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Clifton Hall. I just want to make a specific designation of the traffic. That's between Gratiot, Hayes, and the loop around to come back west. That's the area I want them to concentrate on for that traffic. Pedestrians that's out in the street almost got hit 3 times. I'm there. And a woman come across there last Thursday, dragging 2 little kids, can't hardly walk. I got my flashes on the head of it, pulling up to that from down further west there. And their car speeded up there, almost ran over those babies and 2 kids, the mother and 2 kids and stuff. And I'm there 2, 3, and 4 lights. The loop and come around, or the loop and go out and go south across Hayes. In the morning and in the evening. Like in the morning, it starts around 7 o'clock, a little before, and run to 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Going eastbound, they block that intersection where you can't get across going east, further east. And that's why I'm asking someone to try to get in touch with the county to do something about that with all of this traffic now down on 8 Mile. Because someone going to get hurt and killed there on all of them intersections with them pedestrians and stuff crossing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name's Larry Edwards, Eastpointe resident. I'd just like to start off with saying I want to commend Councilman Baker for standing on what's natural, on his conviction. Highly commend him for that. When it's such a great opposition and even fear that has been put into the hearts and minds of people to try and go against what's perverted, to make laws, to try and condemn you. And then I just wonder, what are we going to do when it comes to the point? Because when you give the devil an inch, he's going to naturally look to take over and start driving. You give him a mile, you give him an inch, he's just going to take over and what have you. And I'm just wondering, what are we going to do when, because the door has been open, what are we going to do when MAP, which is minor attraction person, pedophiles, start protesting their rights. It's on the way. It's just a matter of time. And start wanting to marry minor children. What are we going to do then? Are we going to uphold that and vote for that as well and what have you? I mean, it's all in line. Bestiality. The New Ages, marrying trees. We're going to just start accepting everything. That's where we're headed. That's what's going on. The door is open. There's no closing it, and what have you. This is what happened when you start accepting all kind of crazy stuff and what have you. And then when Trump he made it to where at least he made an attempt and everything to where it's only two genders, male and female, and what have you. So I hope that'll be recognized and acknowledged and what have you. And then we have people that always talking about love and everything. We're going to love a lot of people to hell. That's what we're going to do. We're loving a lot of people straight to hell. That's all.
Anyone else?
Jennifer Nicholas, Eastpointe resident. Thank you, Mayor Kleinfeld, for addressing my question that I asked about the resolution for Pride Month. Interesting article in the Macomb Daily last week talking about the hours for Eastpointe's recreational marijuana facilities. Councilwoman Pashadlik said finally that her motion was meant to give Eastpointe cannabis businesses an edge over neighboring cities. Going back to where this started, back in March of 2024 is when recreational marijuana was first proposed. A couple months later, Councilwoman Pashadlik's friend, Attorney Robert Vitale of New Baltimore, came to our city council meeting speaking on the benefits of dispensaries to cities. He came back again in November at our recreational marijuana workshop and noted that he has worked with both attorneys Aaron Geyer and Chris Aiello, who represent Moses Roses. And Mr. Vitale advocated for doing the conversional licenses in support of his friends, Mr. Geyer and Mr. Aiello. He also stated that it's safer to buy marijuana in Eastpointe than to have to go to Detroit. February 18th of this year, the first reading of the ordinance to allow recreational marijuana, Attorney Aaron Geyer and the other attorneys representing the two other facilities all requested that dispensaries be open till 10 p.m. during the week and 11 p.m. on the weekends. Councilwoman Pashadlik made a motion to include the hours that the attorneys asked for. March 4th of this year, second reading of the ordinance, Councilwoman Pashadlik changed the motion to have hours till 10 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and midnight Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is later than what any of the three facilities requested at any council meeting. Maybe they spoke with you privately on wanting to have later hours. I don't know, but we never heard it here. 1 week after the ordinance was approved here on March 11th, attorneys Aaron Geyer and Chris Aiello, who are both from Warren, spoke at the Warren City Council meeting where Warren was voting on approving recreational marijuana. Attorney Geyer asked Warren City Council to extend their hours to midnight Thursday through Sunday. Attorney Aiello stated to Warren City Council that Eastpointe allowed their stores to stay open until midnight
You have 30
and
seconds.
encouraged Warren to allow these businesses to set their own hours. So I guess there goes our edge over neighboring cities. Do you suppose that our neighbors from Ferndale, Hazel Park, Centerline that all close at 9 p.m. would choose to drive past weed stores in Warren to come to Eastpointe to buy weed? I do think that our Detroit neighbors probably will come over. Just geographically, they're much closer to us and will probably come to Eastpointe. So I don't think that it's giving us an edge, but
Thank you.
again, you know, if you care to expound on it at this meeting, that'd be great. If you prefer to speak with a reporter again, that's fine too. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
We need to revisit civics here and, refresh people's memory about civil and constitutional rights that, this country is comprised, well, it's a melting pot. Anyways, I did say that I would speak further on Senate Bill 223. Mayor Kleinfeld, my apologies. Your mom was a co-sponsor. Anyways, I want to read this onto the record, the summary / bill text. So Senate Bill 223, this amends the existing law regarding the licensing and regulation of dealers and research facilities that handle dogs and cats for laboratory research purposes. It specifically modifies Section 11A requiring research facilities to submit an annual report to the department by March 31st each year. The report must include detailed information about the total number of lab animals owned, used for research, and released by the facility, replacing the previous requirement for attestation of compliance. Additionally, the bill clarifies that the department will utilize the information from these reports to assess compliance with existing regulations, but will not disclose any of the report's contents on its website. The change aims to enhance transparency and accountability in the treatment of lab animals while protecting sensitive information from public access. So anyways, this went before the Ag Committee today. And, of course, there were numerous groups that were in support of this because you really need to give Teddy's bill, pun intended, teeth to enforce this. The guy that was there in opposition, he just complained, about it's creating an undue burden. Why should they have to do this when you can just go on MDARD's website, look it up for yourself? Well, one of the senators that's a part of the Ag Committee had to correct him and say, you know what? No, you need to be transparent about this because we can't find it. Lab animals, it's disgusting.
30
this
seconds.
is where I part company because no, I do not believe in testing on animals, period, whether it's for cosmetics, household products, or medical research. You are basically torturing these poor animals to death. No, they are not always sedated. They are supposed to be, but they're not. They're supposed to be treated humanely. They're not. And this guy that was opposing it said, well, we don't give any animals to the shelters because, well, they're really not healthy enough. They're not doing their job. We'll talk more at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, the second hearing of the public is closed. We'll move on to mayor and council reports. Councilman Baker.
I'm just going to say shout out to my daughter who graduated at high school graduation, and that is my last child from high school. I've gotten 4 through, and they've done well. So, I'm going out on a positive note like that. Thank you. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for coming out and sharing your thoughts and opinions, and we'll see you at the next one.
Councilman Curley.
Thank you. Just one real quick thing. We just celebrated Mother's Day a little bit ago, right? And I think Father's Day is going to come up before our next meeting, so I want to take this opportunity to wish all the fathers happy Father's Day. And I'll just say it, sir. I love my wife. I love you.
Thank you, Councilman, or Councilwoman Bishop.
I think I've made myself abundantly clear that I'm very supportive of businesses here in Eastpointe. I patronize businesses here locally. I've stated several times that, it would be appreciated if you could support the businesses on 9 Mile during the construction and Gratiot. I think I've made that obvious. I do support my community by attending those businesses, and I strongly believe that we need to keep the ones that we currently have, retain those, as well as bring in new business. I still stand by that conviction, which is why I was very supportive of the marijuana facilities. I'd rather see businesses thrive here and reside, have their businesses here, located here in our community, than have vacant buildings. That's just how I feel. I can't speak for the rest of council, but that is my opinion. As for the article, I'm glad you got the recognition that you wanted. I don't think that it's necessary to go to those extremes. I made a 1 hour difference. That's it. I don't think you know who my friends are. You're saying like Bob and I are besties or something like that. Not the case. I can assure you, you do not know me. You do not know me. Mary Hall Rayford had said it at one of the last meetings that she didn't know me, and that's true. And I don't think you do either. I typically try to stay positive and focus on positive things that are happening in our city. I like to focus on the positive. I like to stay that way. So I would like to commend the blood drive. That was very nice to hear. They do save so many lives when you donate blood. It's the gift of life, literally, for so many people. And so I'd like to congratulate everyone on that. And congratulations to Maya. It's a great accomplishment. She's a beautiful girl. I saw the pictures on social media. She's very pretty.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And that's all I have.
Councilman DeMonico.
Thank you. Yeah, on that note, actually, I should have jumped in about Tony Lipinski for Rare and the blood drive. I don't think I've seen anyone. He showed me his app, how many times he's donated to the Red Cross. He's got to have more donations than anybody I know for sure. So not only is he putting it together, he's also giving blood super regularly. So anyone else out there, please do that next time we got it. What was it, September? We'll get you signed up between now and September. And congrats to the fire departments. Let's see. And then also, yeah, congratulations to your daughter, Councilman Baker, and happy Father's Day, upcoming Father's Day to that side of the table over there. Councilman Curley, Baker, Randy, everyone else out there who's a father, happy Father's Day shortly. Let's see, also, the Memorial Day Parade was great. Again, I think personally, maybe biased, but I thought the best one yet. There were hundreds of people in the parade, a lot of big groups. If you do know a marching band, let me know, though. We got to get a marching band back in the parade. If you know anyone willing, let us know. We'll reach out to a few people and see what we can make happen. But yeah, it was great. Thank you to everybody that coordinated. So the rest of the committee is our County Commissioner, Sarah Lucido, Chris Causley, who runs the Military Museum, and Ron Tamala, who's a Knights of Columbus member, and they help out a lot on the day of, helping with staging. The Odd Fellows feed everybody at the end. A ton of people help put this together. Too many to mention right now, but thank you to everybody. Thank you if you donated, participated, watched it. Obviously, it's not a fun parade if nobody's watching, so thank you all for coming out. There were people lined along the whole entire parade, so hopefully that's again the case next year. And thank you, some more positive stuff about planting trees over at Roxana Park. At least I saw our DPW director in pictures. I know Gary Sasek, you were quoted there in the article. Thanks to everyone that went out and did that. I think we need to keep planting trees. Come out next time we plant trees too, and it's kind of interesting to plant a tree that's like 10 feet tall. We did that a couple times, I guess many years back. That would have been a little before COVID that I took part in a couple. And then some more good stuff again. Of course, the cruise is coming up, and as Mary mentioned at Hearing of the Public, there will be a gun lock giveaway. So if you do own a gun, need a gun lock, head up to Eastpointe High School, and Moms Demand Action will be handing out gun locks for free. This is thanks to, I got a call from Shannon King, who's a trustee in Clinton Township, and Michael Howard, who's a county commissioner. They kind of helped put it together. Thanks to Chief Haynes, he helped out, and Mayor Kleinfeld. Just kind of coordinate. I guess we probably did the easier part. They're going to show up and give away the gun locks. So show up, check out cars, and grab one of those while you're there. And happy Pride Month, everybody. All right, that's all I got.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved, or second.
All right, please call the roll.
I missed the second. I know it was Councilmember Curley.
DeMonico.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember DeMonico.
Yes, or wait, you already
back-
called the
okay.
motion?
Councilmember DeMonico, the motion.
Oh, I thought it was the second.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm going to vote no then.
Let's do that, made the
I
motion.
tried to end this quickly.
She can never hear me when I say.
Kleinfeld
Did I
made the,
say so moved?
motion.
Did I, audience, didn't I say, no?
Over there. And way down there.
Kleinfeld motion, then.
Well, I know she's so short and she hides. She should be out here in the open. I love her to death, but you can't see her.
Me.
Sorry, Mr. Curley. Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 8:17.